Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first livestream Saturday of 2024. And we're starting the livestream tonight as we did in 2023, where something happens just before I go live. And today, or tonight I should say, it was YouTube asking me for authentication. It suddenly logged me out and then wanted me to log in at 59 minutes past 10, and we go live at 11. So then I had to get a message on my phone, put in the same number, all that kind of stuff. It's good that YouTube does security checks like that, but I'd prefer it if they didn't. They must know that I regularly go live at 11, so they're just sending me a message and logging me out at 10:59. So anyway, I did manage to log in. And I think we're all working. We are fine. At least it looks like that on my software. So hello to all of you guys in the live chat room. Thank you for joining me now in 2024, as you did in 2023. And I don't know whether you can hear that, but there's a helicopter outside, and the weather here in the UK has been crazy, and it's probably to do with that, because last year it was just ridiculously cold. In the summer it was ridiculously hot. I think maybe a new record either last year or the year before. And this winter it's just been ridiculously wet. It's been raining all the time, to the point where there has been flooding in places that have never flooded before. And because myself, my parents, my sister are all close to the River Thames, I've never been close to anywhere that's potentially flooded in my life. But this year, literally 30 seconds drive away is flooded. So I don't know I know exactly what's happening with the world and the weather getting crazy, but it just seems to all be happening a little bit quickly. And yeah, I'm sure the helicopter outside is not to the point where people are, at risk of death or anything, but there are places that are heavily flooded, and yeah, they've had to move out, and people are putting sandbags outside their houses, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, Maidenhead is on the River Thames. My sister lives in Marlow, that's on the River Thames. And Henley on Thames, where I went to college, which isn't very far away, that's obviously on the Thames, because it's called Henley on Thames. And it is the Thames that is, just bursting its banks everywhere because of the amount of rain that we've had. So thankfully the rain has stopped now. It stopped yesterday. There was some light showers, but 2 days ago was where, it was just all crazy, and unfortunately a lot of people had their houses flooded. So that's the crazy weather from tonight, and hence that noise that you might have heard over the microphone, but it sounds like it's gone away now. Anyway, thankfully I'm unaffected. Like I said, I've never been close to being flooded in the past, but this is definitely the first year that it's been on this kind of level, and places that have been flooded where they haven't previously. So anyway, I'm sure that the crazy weather reports are going to be happening more regularly as we progress through the year, and then maybe next year. So I'll have to get some flood defences in to make sure that everything doesn't go haywire. But I can't imagine your house being flooded. I mean, it must be an absolute nightmare that everything is underwater. And there's some people that are wading through water, and it's like at their knee height throughout their house. Absolute nightmare. But anyway, thankfully, luckily, I haven't been affected by that, but it certainly makes you think about it for the future with the weather and the fact that it's not going to be getting any better anytime soon. It's probably going to be getting more extreme. So anyway, back into tonight's live stream, and we should be back with all of the old colours. I say old colours, the normal purple that I tend to have on the live streams and the channel, all that kind of stuff. And I've got the names of my patrons up on screen. I'm going to get rid of them and start them again, because it should start with sponsored by the Wings of Pegasus patrons, but it seems like in 2024 the software is deciding just to put the names in a random order, so we're just going to let them go through in the random order, because it doesn't really matter the order. All of these lovely people at the bottom of the screen make what I do possible, so thank you guys so much for all of your support. And this being a normal live stream, because we're definitely back into the groove now after Christmas and New Year, we've got all of the usual things that we aim for, including the likes goal, which tonight is set at 380, so it's still quite a large target that we're going to be aiming for. So we need every single thumbs up that we can get, and we're going to be having Phil Jam number 102. That sounds like a lot, but I think that is correct. Phil Jam number 102, if we hit that target of 380. Obviously that'll be happening at the end of the live stream, as always does happen when we hit that target. So if you can hit that thumbs up, it would be much appreciated. Now, the other thing that has disappeared is the likeometer, which I'll just do a quick screen grab of that. and click on this, so hopefully it appears, and there it is. 215 is where we are at so far, so maybe we can get a bit of a spike going on. And who just said, oh, Debbie says purple lights, so that's something that I've forgotten to put on, and I wonder if they're still set on a funny colour. So they're still on yellow. That was for New Year's Eve, and let me see if I can get them back to, that looks a little bit more blue than purple. Let me try that purple, that is that maybe, I think that's the normal purple one I have. I do have a lot of options. This is the thing, that once I change it from one colour to another colour, I then forget what the original colour was, but they now look purple rather than the green, red, orange, yellow, blue, white. If I wanted to be just straight down the line and a little bit boring, we could go for white, but purple lights are on, so thank you for that, Debbie. Right, now, what else do we have? We usually have the donations tab up on screen as well, because you don't have to donate, just watching is great. Hitting the thumbs up is even better, and if you do donate, I think it's important that you know where the money goes. So you don't have to donate, but just in case you do, if you can't resist it, between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link. And you can find that in the description below if you so wish. And just while I remember, let's get a plug of the mug going on. If you want to get your hands on any of the merch, you can click on the tray underneath this video. If you've got items there, it will take you through to the spring.com store. If you haven't got a tray, there's a link in the description below that you'll be able to click on to take you through. So, right, the other thing is, as you can probably tell, I am in need of a bit of a haircut. I say a bit, in dire need of a haircut, because tonight I've dodged the bullet. We have a kind of centre parting thing going on, but I have got a curl. You might be able to see the hair is curling, so it means that I can see. I say that, but there's a bit of hair that keeps on going in front of my eyes there. So if I keep on doing that, that's what I'm doing. Just trying to keep the hair out of my eyes because my fringe is way too long at the moment. Still got to get round to actually booking in a haircut. So moving forward, in tonight's live stream, we have the same vote going on that we normally do and did in 2023, which is for a cover video. And tonight, the vote is between Iris and Parisian Walkways, and it's Iris that is in the lead at the moment. So, yes, we will have a look at that a little bit later. Or hang on. Oh, somebody just said, all what exactly? I didn't see what that said. Somebody said something about, I think it was a guitar. I'm going to scroll up. It was Andre, Dr. EAS. He said, all. Maybe I'm just jumping into somebody's conversation, so I'll read it anyway. What exactly is this guitar without a body? Travel guitar, smart guitar. Oh, maybe that's referring to the Mugabe guitar behind me, which is like a travel guitar and a smart guitar. I do have a video on it on the channel somewhere. If you want to search for that Mugabe video, then you can do. But yes, the speaker at the bottom of it is attached, so it means you don't have to plug it into an amplifier, and yes, it folds up and the sides are removable, so you take off the sides, you put them in what is, just a carry case, which is about this size, but because the neck kind of folds over onto the slim body, I was about to get my mouse out to put a cursor over it, but then I realised that's not possible because I'm actually not looking at a video of myself. I am actually live. So, this body part here folds up onto the neck, so it's probably only about this size, and yeah, you take off the side parts and you can travel around with it. But it does loads of things. You can plug in, your phone or your Bluetooth player, whatever you've got, to have a backing track going through that you can play through at the same time. You can record on it, and it's got a hard drive in the guitar, so you can press a button. If you've got an idea for a song, you can just press the button, record whatever riff or things that you want, and then stop it. You could also just record some backing, and it can play back, and then you can play along to the backing that you've just played. So if you want to have a jam with yourself, then you can do, but that's what that is called, Mugabe, and it's Mugabe. So, yeah, you can check that out if you want to. Right, hopefully that is what that related to. Let me go back to the bottom of the chat room, and I don't know why, but on YouTube it seems to just select top chat rather than live chat, and that's maybe because there are too many comments going through all the time on the live chat, but now I have changed it so I can see everything that's going through there. Anyway, back to the whole donations thing. There have been some donations over on PayPal, so thank you guys for those, and I will just attempt to get through those very quickly. Linda donated £7.52 at 1:30 on Monday morning. So was that New Year's Day? I think so. So thank you for that, Linda. And it was a straight up donation. And do we have another one? There's another one that I've just lost. And it's because I got an email from Google saying somebody's logged in, and it's me. They're saying somebody's tried to log into your account. I know, you just sent me the verification thing to make sure it was me. Anyway, back to, I think we're back in. Okay, right. Yeah, this is Monday at 10:49 in the morning. So New Year's Day again. And this is Liz. So thank you for this £10 donation. The message is, hi Phil, for your wonderful music and to try Gaia TV. I hope, or Gaia, Gaia TV. I hope you enjoy it. Try watching Emery Smith with much kindness and Happy New Year, Liz. So thank you for that. And yes, Happy New Year as well. It is the 6th now. So obviously that was sent through on New Year's Day. So I'm a little bit late bringing this up. But then we didn't have a live stream on Tuesday. So that's why. Right. Chuck has donated £2 as well. So thank you for that, Chuck. And that is a straight up donation. So let me click on the next one, which is a donation of £20 from Teresa. So thank you for that. And that is a straight up donation as well. And that came through on Thursday at 9:07 in the evening. Nicole donated £13. Thank you for that, Nicole. And the message is, hello, Phil. The first weekend of the new year, a thought of Jimi Hendrix. When the power of love will replace the love of power, it will be a big evolution. Good, healthy Phil. Kiss from France. So thank you for that, Nicole. And yes, I have heard that Jimi Hendrix quote before, and I don't know whether it's maybe the same quote that might have been changed, but I thought it's something like, when the power of love replaces the love of power, there'll be peace on earth, maybe something like that. But yeah, it would be a big evolution as well of the human race. Sadly, I think we're quite a long way away from that. So thank you for that, Nicole. And Paul has donated $5 as well. Thank you for that, Paul. The message is 337,000. Yay, let's have fun tonight and spike those likes, all y'all. So thank you for that, Paul. And let me see if this is up to date. I think it is. 337,000 subscribers. Thank you guys for subscribing, hitting the thumbs up, leaving comments, all of that cool stuff. Because I'm thinking, I'm kind of losing track of where we are, whether we've already said that we've had 337, whether that was 336. I've lost track over Christmas and New Year, so it might be the fact that we haven't said that yet. So again, another ridiculous number, but we'll keep on pushing forward and see where we end up. So let me now get rid of that, which should stop everybody cheering, and we will get back into the donations. Thank you for that, Paul. And Tammy donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. And the message is, hi Phil, I don't know if this has been asked before. Are there any personal habits or routines that you believe contribute to your growth and success as an artist? So thank you for that. And I mean, I'm not one of these people that get into things too much. I know that there are some people that do particular things every day, or do yoga, or drink a particular kind of health shake that they make every day, and they think that that's, you know, a part of something that is helping them to achieve what they want to. Even filtering out different kinds of lights. I've seen that. Some people have done that. But it's not anything that I do. I'd say that I'm just relatively straightforward with my processes. I just try to keep up with everything nowadays on a daily basis. But I don't think it's a habit or a routine, but the only thing that I would say is that, and I have mentioned this on the live stream before, that when I used to rehearse with my band, the guy that owned the rehearsal studio called Ash Bull was his name in Maidenhead. Yeah, his advice was, if you just think of doing anything, don't think of it, or once you've thought of it, just do it. So that's what I've done. It means that you do a lot of stuff, it's a lot of work, but any idea that I've ever thought of, I have done, and then you know whether it works or not, because you think, oh, I wonder if it would be a good idea to try and do that. So I think a lot of people think of things and then never do them. So they think, oh, I wonder if that, stop wondering about it. If you do it, then you'll know. So that's very much the approach that I've had. And yeah, it's taken a while. I was thinking the other day, my first covers band was when I was 18 or 19. And yeah, it's probably taken, 16 years of literally doing everything, like every idea that I've had that I thought might help. And that might be, doing videos on YouTube, or, back in the day going out gigging, doing every single gig that I could get and got offered, and just chasing up venues, going to record labels, recording a demo, sending that off, actually driving, get my dad to drive me to all of the record labels in London, hand delivering things for all of the people that were part of the label who I thought my music might appeal to, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that, with hindsight, it's just part of my journey, really. But with hindsight, I do believe that I did dodge a bullet, because especially in my early 20s, I think I was still quite impressionable, and I still had this idea of the music industry that they want you to have of it, that it's all about signing a record deal, and that's what you need to do in order to become successful. And then as I grew older, I realized about contracts, and I met a lot of musicians and people that had worked at labels before, and started to learn about the contracts and what they involve, and the fact that you end up not owning anything. So then I saw videos of musicians who have been signed, and they were saying, don't get signed. Like, the last thing you want to do is to sign a recording contract. So yeah, I think I did dodge a bullet there, because I'd definitely be in a totally different situation now. If I would have signed a record deal in my early 20s, I'd probably be, I don't know, just working a 9 to 5 or something, because I wouldn't own any of my music, and yeah, it could be potentially be a bit of a nightmare. So yeah, but anyway, back to the personal habits. I'd say that, yeah, my habit is just to do things. And I don't think that I could even do what I do now if I wasn't constantly doing things, because keeping up with all of the emails, and just reminded me of an email that I got. Somebody sent me an email at about midnight one evening, and then they emailed me again 7 hours later, and just, that is during the night here in the UK. So I don't know whether they knew about time zones, but then they emailed me 7 hours later saying, I still haven't received a response from you from my previous email. And they'd only sent it literally 7 hours earlier, during the night time here in the UK. So I thought it's quite funny that, but this is the thing that I don't think people really understand. When it's just one person, i.e. me, doing everything myself on the channel, responding to every email that I get, all the social media messages as well. That's why I have 2 admin days, which are just 2 days jam-packed with responding to messages, emails, approaches from companies, and things like, the guests who have asked me to do a review of their latest single, all this kind of stuff. This is what I get done on the admin days. So somebody emailing me, and then emailing me just hours later saying, what's going on? Why haven't you replied? And I think they said something like, is that your way of saying that you don't want me to talk to you, or that I'm hassling you? And they kind of went into that. And then I had to say, no, it just takes me quite a long time to get through the emails. I can't respond within, especially overnight, within 7 hours. Anyway, it just reminded me of that. So I think that my habit of just doing things all the time has set me up quite well for what I'm doing now, because it is literally, you'll be doing it. If you're taking over what I'm doing, you will be doing something all the time. There's no way of avoiding that. And even if you want to watch something like something on TV, you'll probably be doing something like answering emails or comments, or planning future videos, video editing. You'll be doing that while the thing's on in the background. So you do tend to try to multitask, of try and take in what's happening on the TV while you're doing stuff. For me, Judge Judy's great for that, because you get the general sense of the case and what's going on while you can still type away. Sometimes I take a break to see exactly what's going on, because some of the cases are ridiculous, with the people that think that they aren't at fault for doing something. Like this one person he took a girl's car, crashed it, and then he said it wasn't his fault because they didn't have a contract that said he wasn't allowed to crash her car. So there you go. But you get all of those kinds of cases that are quite entertaining. Well, not for the person who got the wrecked car, but it's entertaining to watch, to see that there are these people around that don't think they're responsible for things that they actually do. Anyway, thank you for that, Tammy. And Dawn has donated £15 and 3 pence. So thank you for that. And that is a straight up donation. And Debbie's donated £10 as well. Thank you for that, Debbie. And the message is, hi, Phil. Glad we are back on a normal live stream schedule, or schedule, as I say over in the USA. Congrats on 337,000 subscribers. Loved both analysis videos this week. You are the best. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that. And we have another one, and this is coming from Janice, who has donated £100. So thank you for that, Janice. And again, let me know if that's a mistake, because we did have that accidental donation of £7,500 over Christmas, which we sorted out. But thank you for this, Janice. Messages. Hello, Philip. We all enjoy the misadventures of poor Philtoon Phil. But is there a particular gig that went exceptionally well? Thanks. So thank you for that donation and question. I'm just thinking of a gig that went exceptionally well. I don't think anything really goes exceptionally well. But when you're playing as a band, you want a gig that goes as planned, or as you were hoping it would go, and how you've been rehearsing and all that kind of stuff. And we probably had one when I was in my mid-20s at a place called The Grand in London. And I mean, it's a really cool venue. It's Clapham Junction, I believe, is the closest train station if you want to go there. But anyway, we played at The Grand, and it's, I don't know how to describe it. It's more like a theatre live music venue, in that it has the first floor, there's an area where people stand, but there's also an upstairs where people can stand and kind of look over. So it's on 2 levels, so they can look down onto the stage. So anyway, it's a really nice venue, and we played a showcase there, which meant that record labels, all that kind of stuff, they were invited down, and it was actually really cool because lots of people turned up and everyone knew that we were playing a showcase there anyway. So yeah, it's just reminded me actually of what happened. Is we have this big intro, the lights go down, so it's pitch black, and we then have the backing track that starts up for the intro. And this isn't something that we're playing, but something that is setting the mood for us to then start playing on stage. So while this is playing, everything's dark and we make our way onto stage. So it's all set up that when we hit the first chord of our first song, all the lights come on and we're into the show. So we have the backing track going, and this is the sound guy who's in charge of it, and we said to him, look, please play this. Here's the MP3, this is the play button, and this is how you stop it. So anyway, we started the gig, and right at the end, I mean, it was something that we had made, and I had made this backing track so that it came in the correct key, and it ended in the correct key for our first song. So it was all pre-planned, all worked out, and it stopped, lights came on, we hit our first chord, and then the backing track started up again. So even with a gig that I'm thinking, oh, that went well, thinking about it, you think, well, that could have been better. So the sound guy let it play through again rather than stopping the backing track, or he put it on loop. So then he had to try and stop that while we were playing the backing track and then started up again. And it was just, like sounds of thunder, and it was like rain, and it was atmospheric, all that kind of stuff. And then had some keys in there as well, strings. So yeah, it's just reminded me. But again, this is the kind of thing that nothing ever goes to plan perfectly when you're relying on anybody else. But the good thing is that the rest of the gig, I think, was pretty much fine. That's just something that I've remembered now about that particular intro. So yeah, that was good because it's a good venue. And yeah, I can't remember who the support band were, or we must have had a support band that went on before us, but I just remember going out there and seeing lots of people, it being a good gig. And then after that, somebody from Universal got in touch with myself and Griff, who's the second guitarist, wanting to meet, and we were due to meet at the Grand again. I don't know when that was, maybe a week or a couple of weeks afterwards. But here is where destiny comes in, because we organised a day and a time to meet with this guy from Universal who'd been at that kind of label showcase. And we got to the Grand, myself and Griff, and it had been snowing on that day. So it meant the travelling was really difficult. And the guy from the record label couldn't make it because the trains had been cancelled, and that's how he was going to get there. So we didn't have that meeting. But again, as I said, I think it's just destiny, because we didn't have that meeting, which meant that my career then went along that independent route rather than having a meeting with somebody that was interested in probably trying to make as much money out of us as possible. And then later on, it was Universal again that approached me when, Griff left the band, and he approached me and asked me about, the band and, who wrote the songs and all that kind of stuff. So that was Universal again. So yeah, I've got a bit of a history with Universal Records, but thankfully nothing ever really, was finalised, or there weren't any talks of contracts at any point. And I wonder whether the second time I was starting to be a little bit wary of record labels anyway, from the stories that I was hearing. So it's all destiny, it all works out for the best, and it has worked out the best for me. A lot of people I think wrongly, that when they've missed out on an opportunity to sign a record deal and they think, oh, that was my one chance and I missed it. It wasn't a chance. It was something that you've managed to escape from. I would say now that if you get asked to sign a record deal, it's because they want something that you have. So do it yourself, and because if they've got something you want, then chances are that if you do it yourself, people are going to want it. And that's the reason that you're getting offered a record deal, is that they're seeing the opportunity to make money out of you rather than making money for you. So yeah, just stick to your guns, do your own thing, maintain all of your rights, your publishing rights, and just make money for yourself through your art, rather than having another company effectively just making money out of you and then taking everything that you own, because it's like I said, a dodged bullet in my opinion. So thank you for that, Janice. And Tracy has donated £10 as well, so thank you for this, Tracy. And the message is, Happy New Year, Phil, rock. So yes, Happy New Year to you as well. And Connie has donated £20. Thank you for that, Connie. And the message is, Hi Phil, on your long walk around Maidenhead video, I thought I saw a flood wall. If so, does it protect your home? Wishing you all the best. So thank you for that, Connie. And no, I don't live anywhere near pretty much the River Thames. And this is the point, that those places like on the river, they are flooded, undoubtedly, with the amount of rain that's been falling. So yeah, especially in the south and the southwest of the country, just flood warnings. I think there was like, I don't know how many, 200, maybe 230 flood warnings. And yeah, it's normally nowhere near that amount. So yeah, it's just been crazy. So yeah, those places, unfortunately, in that video would be flooded, but that was me walking right by the river. But yeah, there have been lots of flood warnings in places that are far away from the river because of, yeah, just the amount of rain that's been happening. So yeah, so that doesn't protect my home, but it protects their homes, but it wouldn't have protected their homes, because if you're on the river, then yeah, sadly, now you're going to be flooded. So thank you for that, Connie. And Stephen has donated £15 as well. So thank you for that, Stephen. And that is a straight up donation. And that is now up to date in the PayPal window. So thank you guys for those donations and for hitting that thumbs up. I can see that we are at 337 likes so far. We are aiming for 380 on the first live stream Saturday of 2024. So let's see if we can get a few more thumbs up. It means we're looking for 42. Quick bit of maths there. 41 now. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we can get a bit of a spike of the likes going on. And then we'll have our Phil Jam, the 102nd Phil Jam of all time, at the end of tonight's live stream. So up to date in PayPal, I can see that there have been a couple of donations in the Super Chat window. So thank you guys for those. And Adam donated $6.99. So thank you for that. And the message is, add a button to donate memberships like Tom Grossi Comedy. So thank you for that, Adam. And this is the thing why the people at the bottom of the screen are so important, because on YouTube, because my channel is looking at other people's songs and other people's copyright material, it means that I don't own it and they take the ad revenue for my videos on my channel. So when doing memberships, that can't be something that I can offer because I'm using other people's copyright material. And if people are watching the videos of me looking at somebody else's material that I don't own, even though it's fair use, YouTube class that as not a channel that I can earn money from people watching my videos because I'm watching something that I don't own. And yeah, even though it's fair use. And this is the thing that I know that people will say, but by law, you should be allowed to do that because it is fair use. But fair use is something that can only be determined by a court and by a judge. So this is why I've said a lot of channels on YouTube, sadly, are looking at things and copyright material illegally because they're not transforming the content, i.e. after you've watched a person's video looking at a particular song, you haven't learned anything that you didn't know before about that performance or that video or that song. If you haven't learned anything about that song or the performance by the end of the video, then it's not fair use. They haven't transformed it. The use of the copyright material has to be transformative. So anyway, that's kind of how it works. But I know that a lot of people use songs and kind of watch them and just say how much they like it and all those kinds of things. But that doesn't transform the original subject material that you've used. It doesn't now make what you've done fair use. So anyway, if you think about it, going to school, or maybe if you were a football team and you were watching another football match and the TV company that showed that football match, if you went and showed it to other people, that's not fair use because you're showing it to them and you don't have the rights to that footage. But if another football team were looking at that footage to point out the tactics and the strategy that they might want to use if they're playing this team, then that would be fair use because they're not distributing it just as it was and without transforming its original use. But anyway, it's probably not a good example, but yeah, going back to the point that the reason that I can't do the memberships thing is because, yeah, the ad revenue and the copyrights all are owned by other people. And that's why all of my videos have adverts on them. And some people comment and they don't know how it works. And they say, why are there so many adverts on your videos? And I say, because I don't put them on there. That's the copyright owner, and generally it's a record label that have a publishing company who just max out the amount of adverts they can put, especially on big channels, because it means that they're going to get more revenue from the more adverts they put on that video. And I don't get a say in that because that's just the way that it works. Technically, I should get ad revenue for every video that I do because it's fair use, but like I said, that can only be determined in a court of law by a judge. So everything is just a default as giving the revenue to the copyright owner of any song that is played on any channel. So there you go. That's why I can't do the membership thing, but that's why the people at the bottom of the screen are so important, because they are the foundation of everything that I do and make it possible without me making ad revenue on the videos that I make in order to keep doing this and doing these streams and everything that you see on a daily basis. So yeah, big shout out to these lovely people, because it is effectively the same thing as being a member. Being a patron of mine allows me to do what I do. And if you guys want to get involved yourselves, you can head over to patreon.com/Wings of Pegasus, because yeah, if you want to do a membership thing on YouTube and you can't see the button anywhere, it's because yeah, YouTube determines who can do it and who can't do it. And I do know as well that some channels in other countries have the membership thing, but it's different laws in different countries, like the copyright law in the UK at least, and with Google Ireland, which is I think where everything comes from, in the UK it's something that's not offered if you're featuring anything that is copyright claimed in your video. So that's why. But like I said, the whole Patreon thing is the similar kind of thing. Anyway, thank you for that, Adam. And Michael has donated $20 as well, so thank you for that, Michael, and that is a straight up donation. And Francis has donated $15 as well, so thank you for that. And the message is, what kind of beverages you like, and have you ever got your parents mad at you? So thank you for the question. Beverages I like, this is probably my favorite beverage. It's water, and that's what I drink most of, probably a couple of litres a day, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more if it's a bit warmer. So yeah, water. And I don't drink alcoholic beverages, if that's what you're referring to, just because I don't like the taste of alcohol. So yeah, there's water, there's juices. I have kind of a mix of I think it's mango, orange, pineapple, something like that. I have that in the morning with my breakfast, and generally I just have porridge oats with fruit in, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, all that kind of stuff. And I'll sometimes have orange juice. I have grape juice as well. But when I have juice, I just have like a tiny amount of juice. So it's obviously high in sugar, but it's natural sugar. But I still don't have a great deal of that. I think that some people do drink a lot of fruit juices, and then might start to put on weight, and they don't know why that's happening. It's because of the amount of sugar that's in it. Even though it's natural sugar, if you're not burning off the sugar, which gets converted into glucose, if you're not burning off the energy that it's giving you, then you're going to start putting on weight. And that's the same for any drink, really. If you drink lots of fizzy pop, if you drink Coke or Pepsi and all these different kinds of things, then you are drinking in, and alcohol especially, just like drinking in carbs, you're drinking in a lot of energy. If you're not getting rid of that energy, then it's going to get stored as fat in the long run. So yeah, anyway, those are the beverages that I have. I can't think of anything else apart from my treat that I did have at Christmas. I was supposed to take a Pepsi Max with me to my sister's house for Christmas dinner, and I forgot. So my one treat of having a Pepsi Max for Christmas didn't materialise, but I did have a Coke Zero. She did have that. So that was a bit of a treat at Christmas. As you can tell, I don't drink a lot of fizzy drinks and stuff. It's generally just fruit. If there's any fruit juice on offer, I'll generally go for that. That's why I like to have with a meal, if possible. So there you go. And I also find that by having fruit juice with a main meal, I then feel like I need like a pudding or a dessert less, because there's been a bit of sugar in the drink that I'm drinking. So yeah, I tend then to maybe just have a yogurt afterwards, which again, the yogurts that I have got 0% fat in, which is great. And they're supposed to be good for your stomach and all that kind of stuff. So I sometimes have a yogurt, but I feel like I don't really need to have a pudding. I know that lots of people have puddings, but I'm not one of those people. So thank you for that. Steve has donated $13.99 as well. Thank you for that, Steve. And the message is, if Roy Clark played rock, would we be talking about one of the greatest shredders of all time? I'm not a country listener, but Roy Clark could play anything with strings. So thank you for that, Steve. And Steve looks like he was me typing there. But yeah, well, with Roy Clark, this is the thing that a lot of country players, especially, I mean, Roy had that multi-instrumental ability. A lot of country players were doing what then 80s players then called shredding, alternate picking and economy picking and sweep picking, all of these techniques where they added distortion and it sounded really aggressive and really fast. The reason that it just sounded more aggressive was because of the distortion on there, but the country players are doing that all on a clean tone, so obviously it's going to sound less aggressive. But I mean, it's all really stemming from country and bluegrass and playing notes very quickly, and playing the banjo, for example. And even though then tapping came along, which again would be classed as playing notes very quickly and potentially shredding, but yeah, Roy Clark, if he were a rock guitarist or in a rock band, yeah, he would certainly have been one of those guitarists that would have had a lot of attention on him, in the same way that Van Halen was Eddie Van Halen. I don't know whether the band would be called Clark, but then again, yeah, I think going with names like Winger, Kip Winger as well. But then again, Red Beach, who plays for Kip Winger in Winger, again, he was another very technically adept guitarist. So I think he would have been one of those players that you might know. I mean, because I know hard rock bands like Lynch Mob, a Dokken with George Lynch as the guitarist. There's always a band, but then the guitarist, because they're so good at playing the guitar. And I think Roy would have been that. He would have been strong enough to have a band named after him as the guitarist, because he was that good. But then he could sing as well. So he could have been the full thing. And when you're talking about Stevie Ray Vaughan, for example, singing and playing and having that ability to play. So yeah, certainly there are a lot of country players, and Roy was definitely one of those who just had top level technical ability, and was playing the techniques before the other guitarists picked up on them. And I can't remember whether it was Glenn Campbell or Roy Clark that Eddie Van Halen asked for a lesson from. It might have even been Glenn Campbell. So yeah, when you're talking about the level of ability in playing, that these country players had, and Glenn Campbell, for example, for a guy like Eddie Van Halen to want a lesson or get as many lessons as he can from those kinds of players, it starts to give you an appreciation of really how they're flying under the radar on their guitar technique and ability. So anyway, thank you for that, Steve. And yeah, I think his name would have been up there, but I think hopefully as time continues, moves on, he'll be seen as one of the great guitarists anyway, because I think more recently, and especially on my channel, I try to let people know about the great players, and the great guitarists generally aren't at the top of these lists of the top 100 guitarists of all time. Those are generally written by a magazine or some kind of chart magazine, and they're basing it on how popular a band were. So you might have bands in there, like Kurt Cobain from Nirvana saying that he is in the top 100 guitarists of all time. But then if you were to talk to guitarists making their list of 100 guitarists or best guitarists of all time, obviously you're going to get a totally different list, because they're going to score it on technical ability and the way that they emote, or the way that they get you to feel by playing their guitar, and the way that their voice sounds through the guitar. So this is, again, it's all subjective, so it's going to be impossible to find a top 100 list that everybody agrees with. But you do sometimes see a top 100 list that doesn't have Roy Clark or Glenn Campbell in it, and there'll be other guitarists who would never ever be able to play what they played because they just didn't have the technical ability. They weren't that advanced as guitarists. So yeah, it's just something that nowadays, it's why I don't look at the lists too much, because they're generally not made by people who play. And I remember doing a video on one list that didn't even have Prince in the top 100. So that gives you an idea. Anyway, thank you for that donation, Steve. And there have been another few donations over in PayPal, so thank you for this. Janice has donated £75.17. So thank you for that, Janice. And the message is, do you get ad revenue from the live streams? I hope so. So thank you for that, Janice. And the live streams are a bit different because I always start with one of my songs that I own. So I make a bit of ad revenue for that, which is why I always say that if you stick at it, and I mean, I know that my live streams don't get millions of views or hundreds of thousands of views, but it's why I always say if you own your publishing, stick with it. And if you do get an audience, then you can start to make a little bit of money from just playing your own music. So that's what I do on the live streams. But the other side of the live streams, as you guys know, we always have a vote for the cover video. So it means that I share the ad revenue with the owners of the cover song, or the song that I do a cover of during the live streams. So I get a copyright claim from myself, and that's the company TuneCore that look after all of my songs, and they watch wherever it's being used over the internet. So I get a copyright claim from myself, and I get a copyright claim from the owner of the copyright of the song that I've done a cover of. And this is where I said a few weeks ago I got a copyright claim from, again, what seems like a totally bogus company who are trying to claim a song that I did a cover of, but they don't own. That was More Than Words by Extreme. It was not claimed by the record label or the publishing company of the record label. So I think there's something going on there that and that was actually Sony who should have claimed that, but somebody else has taken that copyright. And yeah, so I'm going to be talking to Universal as well, because there's another copyright claim that came through that wasn't them, which should have been them, but I think there might be third-party companies that are setting things up and trying to claim things before the actual owners can get in there and rightfully claim it for themselves. So anyway, on the ad revenue for the live streams, I don't get all of it, but I do get half of it. But it's not a huge amount of money. It's, I think, generally, I don't know what it works out as, but I don't know, for every maybe 1,000 views, you might get a pound, or is it $1? It might be something like that. So it means about 70p. So I might get a few pounds, maybe £2 or £3 for a live stream if a lot of people watch it. So yeah, it's this is why I always say, my patrons are so important, but also the donations. I do say you don't have to donate, but they do make a huge difference. So yeah, on the live streams, I make sure that I do get one of my own songs at the beginning of every live stream. But for every other video that I do, if I'm looking at somebody else's song, obviously there's nothing that I own on those videos, on the analysis videos, so that's where I don't make the ad revenue. And I think that's where a massive misconception comes in, that people assume that, you know, you are making all of the ad revenue from your videos. If I were, I know why record labels have a lot of money, because if I were making the money from some of my videos that have had, you know, over 1 million views, I know that one of them's had almost 3 million views. If I were taking the ad revenue for those, then yeah, that would make a huge difference. But I'm not, sadly. So thank you for that, Janice. And Vera has donated £7.52. So thank you for that, Vera. And the message is, hi Phil, just for being you and doing what you do. Without knowing it, you have healed the hole in my heart. So thank you for that, Vera. And yeah, whatever I can do to help, if you enjoy the videos, then that is great. And thank you for watching. And Janice donated again, and this is £75.17. So thank you for that. The message is, Philip, you forgot to answer, did your parents ever get mad at you? And this is from an earlier donation that, yeah, I didn't address. I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Not that I can remember. That was my sister's domain. She was good at doing all that. But, I mean, my parents pretty much just let me get on with what I wanted to do, which is great. And, yeah, I'm trying to think of any time they got mad. I mean, they might be able to tell you. I do remember, even though I'm probably not able to remember very clearly, I know that I got grounded for something, but I couldn't remember what it was. And I thought at the time that what I was grounded for wasn't my fault. And I think, I don't know how young I was, but it was something like my friend was climbing up in the, and this was at maybe primary school, something like that. My friend was climbing up some pipes, and he asked me to do it, or he said, oh, can you do this? And of course I thought, yeah, I could do that. And so he'd already done it. And sure enough, when I then went to do it, the teacher comes in and says, what are you doing? And what are you doing on those pipes? And I was trying to say, but no, he told me to do it, or he said, can I do it? So I was trying to show him that I could do it. Anyway, I got grounded, and it meant that I couldn't leave my room, maybe for, I don't know whether it's a week, and I was very young. And my mum brought my dinner to my door every evening, and that was it. Yeah, when I got in from school, it meant that I just had to go straight to my room and just had to sit in there. So yeah, I do remember that because as a kid, it does hit you hard, you know, doing hard time. What would they call that? It's when you go into a special part of the prison where you're not with everybody else. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but I'm trying to remember from Shawshank Redemption. It's like the hole or something they call it, where you're just put in a room, and obviously that was in darkness, but I was like that, yeah, a kid in that room. So that's what my parents decided was a punishment for me. So that must have made them mad. But I know in my heart of hearts it wasn't really my fault. It was just now that I'm older, I think, well, yeah, if a kid says to another kid, can you do that? Like trying to show off that they can do it. I think, you know, probably if I was a kid again, I'd do it again to show that, yeah, I can do it as well. That, you know, I'm as strong as you are because I can climb these pipes. So anyway, yeah, I think I was just a bit unlucky. So there we have it. That's all I can remember really, but I was too young. I think in my teenage years and all that kind of stuff, I was busy just playing my guitar in my room and playing football. So I wasn't particularly naughty. I got pretty good grades at school as well. I was just trying to get school over and done with, you know, as quickly as I could get it over and done with, the better. And, you know, if I didn't then get good grades, I might have to repeat particular subjects or whatever. I didn't want to do that. So yeah, I just made sure that I completed it as best as possible. Anyway, thank you for these donations in the super chat window. We are going to jump into quickly the cover video for tonight, which is going to be Iris. We haven't looked at that one. I mean, that's an oldie but a goodie. So let me bring that to an end. And we'll jump into it because I can see that it's just gone midnight already. So thank you guys. We are going to be having a fill jam at the end of the live stream. You can keep on hitting that thumbs up, of course, if you're watching this now or on catch up in the future. Every single thumbs up really does help this channel to grow and for these live streams to get out there a little bit more. And for me to make a few more pence. That's what we have here in the UK, pounds and pence. So it's the same as dollars and cents. So yeah, a few more pence of ad revenue. But thank you guys for voting for tonight's cover video. We'll jump into it and I'll see you guys after. Rock!
Well, I'd give up forever to touch you, 'cause I know that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven I'll ever be, and I don't wanna go home right now. And all I can taste is this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. When sooner or later it's over, I just don't wanna miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. Whenever there's a made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And you can't fight the tears that ain't coming, or the moment of truth in your eyes. When everything feels like the movies, yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. Whenever there's a made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
And there we have it. That was my version of Iris by Goo Goo Dolls, of course. And I just naturally said Goo Goo Dolls rather than the Goo Goo Dolls. I don't know whether there's an fit. Some bands you have this with, they have a the or they don't have a the. So anyway, I'm going to stick with Goo Goo Dolls or the Goo Goo Dolls. Let's stop saying that. We are going to be jumping into the Phil Jam for tonight, and there have been a few more donations, so I will quickly get through those. Jennifer donated $10. Thank you for that, Jennifer. The message is, Phil, sadly, a lot of guitarists and drummers who are and were really great are studio musicians. The general public doesn't know who they are. Do you have any favourite studio musicians? So thank you for that. I'll try and answer this relatively quickly. Well, Glenn Campbell, obviously Wrecking Crew, so you can throw that in there straight away. We've already spoken about Glenn in tonight's live stream. Steve Lukather as well. Now, Steve was a guitarist who I found out did the rhythm guitar, and this was on Beat It by Michael Jackson, because Eddie Van Halen did the solo, and everyone, I think, assumed that Eddie Van Halen did all of the guitars, but he doesn't. So some of the rhythm work in that is really strong, and is a huge part of why the song is so good, with hitting chords and vibratoing chords, and it's just great. So Steve, Glenn, I mean, I don't tend to really look into a lot of studio musicians. There are particular ones that, when you go back through, like videos, for example, obviously Chet Atkins, if we're talking about Chet as a player, but then his session work, and Scotty Moore as well. I've said this on the Elvis videos, so you can go and see those if you want. Actually doing videos independently on Scotty Moore being such a great guitarist, and James Burton as well. If we're talking about Elvis, I mean, Elvis is kind of the biggest name that you can get. So, obviously it's subjective, but in terms of a singer, an artist, and a really well-known one, the instrumentation behind him is so important. It was so important. So to have songs that had a lead guitar solo in them, you needed somebody who could absolutely nail the style of the song. And this is the thing about Elvis, that he didn't just sing one kind of song. He sang all different kinds of genres, songs from different genres. So when you've got a singer like that, you need a guitarist who can play in lots of different styles and just find the solos that are going to work, and the solos of those songs in particular, and to be able to play that live. So, there you go. There's James and Scotty that are thrown to the mix. But thank you for that, Jennifer. Karen has donated $10 as well. Thank you for that, Karen. The message is, years ago I watched a live stream and the guy would play video requests. He plays requests first from highest donation, lowest donation, videos last. Your integrity and fairness are always refreshing in contrast. So thank you for that, Karen. Yeah, it's not something that I'm particularly into. I mean, I do say you don't have to donate, and I know that a lot of people do, so thank you very much for that. But I know that there are some channels as well, and I get people who email me and say, how much do I have to pay, or what is your rate to do an analysis video? And I said, there isn't a rate, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll put it on the list. And that's how it works, I just put it on the list. So yeah, I know that there are other channels that, almost hold the audience to ransom and say, right, I'm not going to do this unless you give me money. Whereas, yeah, I would be doing this anyway. The request list is the list. People haven't paid me to look through particular ones. There'll be sponsored videos where, the Mugabe guitar, where I've literally been given the guitar for free, and they ask me to show you what it does and all that kind of stuff. But that's not an analysis video. For the analysis videos, yeah, those aren't sponsored in any way. I just kind of get through them. And yeah, even if, for example, it is the Guess Who messaged me to ask if I could do a review of their latest single, I said to them, yeah, I can do do it. But again, it's not something that I can do straight away, because I've got other videos that I've got to get through first, because yeah, everyone's even. So I know that there are fans of the Guess Who will want that video quickly, but I will do it as soon as possible. But I do have other requests to get through first. So anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And Jennifer donated again $10, and the message is, Phil, that getting grounded sounds like football. The refs only see the second file, and you were talking about solitary confinement. Take care. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Yes, solitary confinement is what I meant. But I don't know whether it was in the Shawshank Redemption they called it The Hole, or maybe it's a different movie. I do like prison-type movies like Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood in. I like that one just because... Well, no, not just because I like the movie, but I also like the very realistic model heads that they made. What I would have said if I was part of that movie production team or director or something, I would say there's no need to shoot or have a shot of the guard getting really close to the pretend head where it just looks really fake and you can see that it's shiny. There's no need to get a shot of the guard going really close and looking and then thinking everything's fine and then walking away. Just show the guard walking past and just looking like they would do in real life. They'd look casually and then they'd walk on, because from a distance it's believable. So that's kind of one scene that I'd say you don't need that for the film, because that's the bit that you think, you're telling me that the guard that close up wouldn't see that it's obviously a shiny head with bits of hair stuck on the top of it. So but anyway, I like the movie apart from that very one little bit of it where I thought you didn't need that, you could cut that out and it still would be believable, because it is based on a true story, so it was believable in the first place. Anyway, thank you for that. Tigress has donated $9.99 as well. Thank you for that. And it's what looks like a cat jumping around. So, thank you. We are going to be jumping into tonight's Phil Jam, and jumping over here, I can see that Joe has... he sent a message, bumped this, which is good. The message is, bump early so you don't have to refresh later. Number 102. Yeah, I got the number right. Maybe gem with moderate distortion. Phase shift or flanger might be cool. Dunno. Well, I haven't got those set up, so we'll just have a go. Don't forget amp mic. Thank you for that. Let me click on that. Click on this.
Hello.
Hello. That was Hello Fresh. That's an advert. Let me let that play through. And skip. So, well, that's like for cooking at home. They must know, or they probably don't know, I haven't got time for cooking. It's always a bit of a rush. Right, this is prog rock backing track number 1, A minor guitar, 100 beats per minute for you tempo fans out there. And this is coming from Awesome Backing Tracks, exactly as it sounds. That is the YouTube channel. As for the levels, we'll see what happens. This is 6 minutes 25, so we better get on with it. See what happens here. So let me know. Zoom. Wasting time. Time is wasting. Zoom out. Okay. I can hear that, which is good. Okay, can you hear this? Okay, yeah, zoom, please, maybe a little bit behind. Okay, seems like level's good, sounds great, sounds good, cool. Let's let me grab this. I have this. I do have the wah wah if we need it. sounds a little bit flat, but we'll just jam through it and see how we do. Left. Ooh, what's that? 1 minute 20 seconds. So keep on pushing through, see how we do. Sounded like it was gonna finish. Oh, it did kind of finish, but it was a bit of a fade out. So those are always a little bit difficult to get something that's going to finish. I thought it was going to finish before it did. Hence why I was up here. Thought it was going to end. It didn't. But there we have it. That was the Phil Jam for tonight. And again, thank you for sending that one along, Joe. And yeah, hopefully the tone wasn't too bad. I did have to clean up a little bit and then go for it a little bit go for a little bit more, a little bit further on. But nice changes that we had there. We had a little bit of kind of light and shade rather than just kind of the same chords. Sometimes we might get 3 or 4 chords, and yeah, it's very difficult to kind of play through, especially if it's long, like maybe 6 minutes or longer. But anyway, that was the Fill Jam for tonight. So thank you guys for joining me tonight, and I'm going to be back with another video tomorrow. As always, we're going to be live streaming on Tuesday night, same time, same place, and that's at 11 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. So look out for that one. That's where I will be if you guys can make it. So, as I always say, try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. And have a great rest of your weekend. And I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!